Here, why modern urban planning fails? Because genuinely designed on the basis of planned city, not the lived city. Here the people live, people go here and there because this city, most of the cities, for example Mumbai, for example Ghaziabad, most of the migrant workers just go and sleep in their houses and they go for employment, they go for employment on the other city. That's the thing. Because so a static user base. What is a static user base? Static, which means it is stagnant. It assumes that population, work, mobility, and service demands remain stable, which is actually not stable. And what a homogeneous user base assumes? It assumes one average citizen formal, settled, documented, able-bodied, and male neutral. But in the real life, it does not exist. In India, these static user and homogeneous user base assumption is dangerous. And why? Because urbanization is accelerating at a very fast pace, and as per the Economic Survey 25-26 data, that Indian towns and cities that may house nearly 600 million people and 40% of the population, which consists of, and it contributes almost 70% of GDP. Here, it designs planned city, not lived city. All these we have covered. Now, the number one is dynamic population static planning. Here is master plan assume fixed populations projection. Indian cities continuously change due to migrants, students, workers, peri-urban expansion. Here we have examples like 600 million people would be there by 2036. We have homogeneous citizen assumption. Planning assumes an average citizen, which is I've already talked about it, and we have major criticism. Here housing criticism. Because planning builds ownership housing, but in reality, what does it require? It requires the rental housing, dormitories, and most specifically in Mumbai. Because they move to Navi Mumbai to Mumbai for their employment purpose, workplace linked housing, current affairs with PM Awas Yojana, housing demand 30 million units by 2030, and we have zoning criticism, which means they make the home a workplace, they make the street a market, they make the metro station a livelihood space. So there is mixed land use. And we have mobility criticism, which means planning assumes office going commuter. In reality, women make multiple trips, elderly walk slower. So we need to have a road and infrastructure as per the real demands, not the assumptions as they have. So we have transport criticism because metro solves the corridor, not the first and last mile. So accessibility criticism here in real life we have missing ramps, we have high pavement, short pedestrian signals because disabled citizens and elderly people not able to walk because most of the parking are genuinely grabbed by the other people and they're a very bad system in India. And we have public space criticism, which means planning assumes neutral public space, but in reality, women experience unsafe and bus stops, dark streets, they have poor lighting, which means we have gender sensitive planning and climate criticism because old planning assumes a predictable climate. In reality, we have heat island, we have flooding, wetland loss, drainage. So what could be the benefits of changing the planning approach? So we have adaptive planning. If we have the adaptive planning, we can have compact cities, vertical development, mixed land use. We can have efficient land use, less urban sprawl. which means we can have better sustainability, which means how can we have it by rainwater harvesting, solar rooftops, compact urban form, lower carbon footprint. We have economic benefits, agglomeration economies, higher productivity, lower infrastructure, which means Delhi Master Plan by 2041, it is the current relevant example. We are aging India 230 million enrollee by 2026. So what can we do as a way forward? So we can write in the answer writing that adaptive master plans, we can have dynamic population projections, we have data driven planning for housing के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं rental housing, dormitory, affordable housing, mixed income housing, because there is a trickle down effect. What is trickle down effect? They assume that if they will make a luxury apartment, someone will have it and their apartment which they have left, it will cost less. And the middle class, they have left another house which will be available for the privileged migrant workers. But it does not work in the real life because luxury apartment mostly not taken by most of the people. They think they are most expensive and luxurious. So trickle down effect in actual life, in real life, it doesn't work. We have transport, we have first mile, last mile connectivity, we have mixed land use, we have gender sensitive planning, we can have climate related initiative, blue green infrastructure. What can we write? The challenge is not urban planning itself, but the planning for an imaginary average citizen in a city defined by diversity and constant change. India's cities must therefore move from blueprint based to adaptive, inclusive, and people centric urban governance that reflects the realities of the lived cities. You can write and you can learn from these mnemonics, problems, and criticisms in current affairs example. PHMTASC, we have population, housing, mixed language, transport, last mile accessibility, safety, and climate resilience.